Hey, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to do our 15,000 mile review of the Tesla Model Y. And in this review we're going to talk about a couple of different things. We're going to do an in-depth review of the 2023 Tesla Model Y all-wheel drive. Stay tuned for this. Alright, so welcome back. This is the 2023 Tesla Model Y. We've had this car for about a little over a year now. February 2023. It's our second Tesla behind our 2019 Tesla Model 3. The car was priced at $54,999, and it did actually get the 7,500 tax credit, and we will get that this year back on our taxes. It's got black leather. It's got the red multi-coat paint, 19-inch Gemini wheels. It's the long range all-wheel drive again, and it's the 5-seater variant. As I said earlier, this is the second Tesla purchase that we've made. It's been a really great car, and now that we're about 1 year later and 15,000 miles, I wanted to let you know my thoughts on living with this car as our family driver for all of that time. We'll talk about battery life, maintenance, charging, cost of ownerships, issues, and wear and tear in this video. So the first thing we're going to talk about is going to be battery degradation. So the mileage right now versus new, we started around 330 miles of range when we bought this car new. It's now around 315 miles of range here in the winter of 2024/spring, which is a little less than 5% reduction. I expect that to go back up a little bit now that it's becoming hotter, but 10% reduction is common in the first 10,000 miles of a car typically. We just saw in the Model 3, which is now at 75,000 miles, that we had a 10% reduction. About 4 years that's been holding stable. So the range in the Model Y is really good. It's got the heat pump, so it's a lot better than our Model 3. It's been really nice for road trips. The charging habits on the car has been charged using supercharger about 7.8% of the time, because it is used for all of our road trips according to Testify, and the rest of the time it's been charged at home about every other night or so. We tend to let the battery get down to 20 to 40% and then charge it back up to 80% each cycle. The car sits sometimes and has short drives around town or interstate regularly during the year. So efficiency for this car, we kept a lifetime efficiency indicator here, and as you can see, this trip is the lifetime, which is at 310 watt-hours per mile for the entire lifetime of the car, over 15,000 miles now. So that's pretty good. Compared to our Tesla Model 3, that is 285, so it is a little high, but it is a much larger car. So now let's talk about charging costs. At home, we're about 13 cents per kilowatt hour. It's cost us about $515 over the last year to charge it. And since we have used superchargers, we estimated 45 cents per kilowatt hour equals about $200, $198. So if we do compare this to the last car my wife had, the Mazda CX-5, it was a 2019 with the same mileage over the last year. So using 26 miles per gallon of fuel economy, roughly $3 a gallon, average for South Carolina in 2023, we saved roughly $980 over the last 12 months, which means that if my wife would have kept driving that CX-5, it would have spent about 2.5 times the amount of money than we actually spent over the last year in fueling. Maintenance and costs of tires and everything else. Over the last year and 15,000 miles, we actually haven't spent a single dime on maintenance for this car yet. It's one of the great features of electric cars, as we have very little to almost no maintenance at all. Coming up, we will have a tire rotation free at a discount tire, because it's who we buy our tires from. And we'll probably have to change the cabin air filter, and I like to change the windshield wipers at the beginning of the spring. Total number of issues, such as warranty issues. So at the beginning of owning this car, it had door paint damage, and Tesla actually had the car for 2 months while they had to repaint and blend the door. It took a really long time, but it's good now. We were very upset about everything. They just were not very polite at the service center, and I made a video about that, and you can go back in our videos and see that. Now that that's all sorted out though, everything's great. We also now have a service center here in Columbia. Before we had to drive up to Charlotte. So anything going on in the future, hopefully we can get it handled locally and under warranty. One of the things about the Model Y, if you're thinking between a Model 3 and a Model Y, I have made a video in the past that kind of goes over the differences between each one. But living with this car just as a family car, I can say having a child now, we would not want to continue riding in our Model 3, which is the whole reason we bought the Model Y to begin with. And I think that was a really great choice because now we still get to travel fully electric, drive fully electric. And my son's actually, he's over 1 year old now, and he has only ridden in a gasoline car one time in his whole life. It's pretty impressive to say that. Every other time it's been in a fully electric car, and we hope to keep it that way. So if you're looking for a family getter, that's definitely the way to go. So software updates that we've gotten for the Model Y in the past year, there's actually been quite a bit of updates, not as many as the first year with my Model 3 because they were really pushing them out at that time, but it has had a lot of updates. Some of them have actually taken it backwards because of NHTSA requiring a recall where it made the nagging of the computer and to watch your eyes if you're using autopilot, and so it's a lot more naggy than it was when we bought the car. But overall, the updates have been improvements. Some other things that we got like a new game, I believe it was. There's the infotainment got a little bit updated in the last year. One thing about the Model Y with our Ryzen is that the screen is much more snappy. It's quick. It has a lot of features such as games, apps to watch TVs and movies. We got Apple Podcasts added to it, so now I can quickly switch between my phone and the car, and it just simply leaves off where you were. It's just, you know, little things that just make the car better that you didn't have originally. Exterior and interior wear. So on the Model Y, we don't have a lot of wear. We have had a couple of dings here and there from parking lots and different things. We actually have this really deep scratch right on the back left door where somebody just, I mean, it looks like they pushed right into it. We do have paint protection film on the entire front of the car, and so that has protected a lot from road issues and things like that. Although that paint protection film has been nicked in a couple of places and it possibly got through and got onto the paint. But other than that, just a couple of door dings on the sides of the car, which I don't know why this car gets door dinged so badly. My Model 3 took 3 years before it got a door ding, and this car has gotten like 3 in the first year of ownership. It's not fun to see because this car is not necessarily cheap, but as you heard, we did pay $55,000 for this car, so it is a little pricey. With the $7,500 back, that does bring that price down to $48,000. So $48,000 for an SUV is not bad, especially an all-electric one, where you're saving $1,000 a year in just fueling. That doesn't include maintenance, no fuel changes and everything, which 15,000 miles, I would have had at least 3 oil changes by now. So in conclusion, the Model Y is a great car. It's a very quick car, it's fast, it's fun, it's super comfortable. The noise in the car is very quiet, and the Teslas have really good build quality these days, especially these Austin built Teslas. So I'm glad we got this car. I can't say enough about just how convenient it is. So far my wife has liked driving this car. I will say she's not big on the styling of the Tesla Model Y, so there's a chance that we will be getting something a little bit different in the future. Maybe the Rivian R2 is what we're looking at. That's a little bit more in our design styling that we like to have, and it's all electric, so that's a must. And Tesla, as of right now, makes the best all electric cars for the most part. And but other car companies are coming around, so Tesla has to keep doing updates and improving their cars. But when it comes to the battery, the charging, the efficiency, Tesla is very, very on top of their game. Would I recommend a Tesla Model Y? Yeah, I think I would. For anybody who needs a little bit of space, that maybe needs a higher up car to get in and out of, I would recommend the Tesla Model Y. I think there's some other good options out there as well. But currently, since Tesla is the only one that has full native NACS support, which is Tesla's supercharging network, I would probably recommend going with a Tesla if you can afford, or if you don't mind getting up and down into a smaller car. The Tesla Model 3 is also a really good choice. It's my favorite car on the road, period. And so Tesla makes a couple of great cars. If you enjoyed this video, or if you got any other questions, keep an eye on this channel. We also just got full self-driving for 30 days, so we're going to be making a lot of videos about that in both our cars. And so like, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.